I recently played Spider-Man Miles Morales on PS5. Yes, I finally got a PS5 and I finally was able to play Miles Morales like I said I was going to in my previous videos. And man, that's an awesome game. Like, I'm not just saying it because I'm a comic book guy, but I really enjoy playing that game. And usually I would have given a gameplay of it, but I've been recently doing that in my Twitch. So for those who don't have a Twitch account, I would say go ahead and follow me on Twitch, because mostly that's where I'm going to start posting my gameplay of all superhero like games, maybe a few non-superhero games on there. So follow me on Twitch, Kent Wayne, you know how it is. So let's get right to it. So what do I think about the game so far? The game is short, but it had enough in there to keep me occupied a little bit with the side stories and the challenges and all the extra gimmicks to go with it. I do like Miles as a character. He's very different from the Spider-Man that we all know, which is Peter Parker. His style, his fighting style, his swinging, all that is just so different. And even his costume, like, he has his own type of, what they say, swag. Yeah, Miles added his own fresh take on the character. And throughout the story, this is all about Miles taking up a bigger responsibility, not just being Spider-Man's shadow, but also being his own Spider-Man. So that's one thing I like about the game. This game is somewhat I wouldn't say it's a sequel, but more like a spinoff to the Marvel's Spider-Man PS4 game that came out back in 2018, which that game, again, is the best Spider-Man game I've played so far. So being able to play Miles Morales Spider-Man is fantastic. As you can see here, I have, of course, the Spider-Man portrait on my wall there, just so you know that, I really like Miles Morales as Spider-Man. I did say that in Marvel, Spider-Man is my favorite Marvel character in all of the Marvel universe, even in the MCU. I think Tom Holland does an okay job playing as the character. We just want to see a little bit more how he portrays him, but overall, as far as like the Marvel universe, Spider-Man is my favorite. So again, I would recommend anyone who has not got a chance to play this game to play it. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, when I played through the whole game, this game has been out for months, so I guess I can go ahead and kind of spoil it for those who haven't played it, or if you've already seen gameplay on YouTube, because I know a lot of people who wasn't able to obtain the PS5, but they either bought it on the PS4 or waited until they got their hands on the PS5 for them to play it. I know that, there's been a few people, if not some, have already tried to watch some gameplay of it on YouTube or on Twitch. So let's get right to it. So the game pretty much takes place a year after the main game of the Marvel Spider-Man game. Miles finally, is getting used to his spider powers after he revealed it to Peter Parker at the very end of the Marvel Spider-Man. So this game also takes place around Christmas, around the same time when Miles came out, was back in November of 2020, which, again, a lot of people weren't able to get it, but if you were able to get it on the PS4, that's good. Me, I wanted to wait till I got on the PS5 because I wanted to experience that, feeling of playing as Miles on the next gen console. So again, with Peter gone, it's up to Miles to pretty much protect the city. It was a lot to handle, but I feel with, Miles, he was able to do it his own way. There's been a lot of hiccups here and there, a lot of mistakes that he's made, but if for a hero, you gotta, the best way to learn from, to be a better hero is to learn from your mistakes. So, this is a Miles who, only been Spider-Man for not so long as like Peter was when he first started off. Of course, he was going to make a lot of mistakes, but he was able to not only learn from them, but also become a better Spider-Man by, of course, what the models say, be greater in terms, be yourself. Don't try to be like how Peter was when he was Spider-Man, but be your own kind of Spider-Man. And there was one thing in the game where a character was saying that, that this person knew Spider-Man ever since she was little, and she or the character knows that Spider-Man pretty much was New York Spider-Man, but to have a Spider-Man in a particular area in New York, which was Harlem, because most of the time Miles is now in Harlem. He was living in Brooklyn, but he moved into Harlem with, his mom, and his best friend stayed over for a couple of weeks. getting the gist of it, which I kind of like the whole Harlem thing. You know, it makes me want to kind of go and visit Harlem in the near future. Hopefully, in a couple of weeks, I'll be able to go to New York. But again, they call it Harlem Spider-Man. He also has a best friend by the name of Genki, who is kind of like that nerd, or what do people always call it when you are a superhero and you have like another friend who knows about your secret identity and is willing to, partake in your crimes. I know what it is. It's the guy in the chair. So Genki is pretty much like it's the guy in the chair. He's pretty much the eyes and ears of Miles, keeping track of what's going on in the city. He even came up with this friendly neighborhood Spider-Man app that helps, for people to go and request help from Spider-Man. Spider-Man comes around and assists the people in Harlem or anywhere in New York City, which that's actually pretty smart. You to have someone willing to create an app so that way you can request help to, Spider-Man to come out and help with whatever situation it is pretty smart. You got to have a friend like Genki around. There's also, now I will say that the story kind of falls a little bit similar to the first game where, Miles has a, connection to the antagonist, which the antagonist happens to be someone that Miles really cares about. And of course they lost their way and they end up becoming the bad guy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And, it's another one of those kind of stories, which I remember I was watching a video from Godzilla Mendoza where he said, like, he's starting to understand, like, the pattern with some of these games, like with the creators of Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales, which is Insomniac, that he's starting to think that there's like a pattern going on, and hope it doesn't be like that when they come out with Marvel Spider-Man 2, where Spider-Man ends up, being or be friends or have some kind of long-term friendship / relationship with a character in the past that happens to lose their way and they become the main antagonist of the game. And, I'm starting to see that pattern. I hope they don't do that in the second game, but I don't know, given the fact that we've been teased twice with Harry Osborn and the Venom symbiote suit tease, some of us are starting to think that maybe Harry's going to be Venom and then Spider-Man's going to try and save his best friend from turning evil. And then, of course, there's been some nods to Green Goblin with Norman Osborn being, possibly becoming Green Goblin, and another person that Peter knows that he has to stop and doesn't want to fight and all that, yada yada voodoo and all that. So, again, it's still a good game. Don't get me wrong. It's a short game, but again, it kept me on my toes. It kept me doing some things. Like I'm the kind of guy, like when I play a game, I don't really just play the full game. Like I do all the stuff in it. I 100% completed. I even got a platinum in it. I do all the side missions, the challenges, all of that, because it's what keeps me going. It makes me enjoy the game more. I've tried to get my money worth for playing this game at 100%. Like I don't want to play this game and just be like, oh yeah, I completed the main campaign, but there's so much I got to do. I didn't really feel like doing it. No, I play it, to my money's worth. So again, the game is pretty good. I hope that in the second Spider-Man game that we can play as both Miles and Peter. That will be a very, very interesting gameplay to have two Spider-Man that you can play as, and you can swap them up, kind of like how they did with the Batman Arkham series, where you get to switch characters during combat or stealth. Like that would be kind of awesome. You can also do like stealth takedown or combat takedown as together, which again, that was pretty good. Also, I like the addition of Prowler. I think Prowler does not get a lot of recognition as much for real in the media. I mean, I know that we've seen him in the Into the Spider-Verse movie, but that's probably the only time we've seen the Prowler. And for those who don't know who the Prowler is Miles' uncle. And if I'll do a video on Prowler in a later video, but Prowler his name is Aaron Davis, and he is the uncle to Miles Morales and also the brother to Jefferson Davis, the late father of Miles Morales, who passed in the game. But in some media, Jefferson Davis survived, but in other media, there are times where Jefferson Davis died during duty, and you know how that goes. So it's kind of like a recurring thing. Like when you're a Spider-Man, you got to lose someone closest to you to understand that with great power comes with great responsibility and all of that jazz. So again, the game was great. I loved it. I hope that we can see some more with Miles, because again, like I'm starting to think that if as popular as Miles is, I think there's going to come a time where Miles will probably outshine Peter Parker. Now, again, it's possible. Like, it's look at the generation we're in right now. It's possible that heroes like Miles could possibly overshine Peter to where he'll become like the main Spider-Man, like the main Spider-Man. And I'm okay with either or, like whether we both have Peter, or Peter stays the main dog of Spider-Man, or Miles become the new Spider-Man, the main Spider-Man, which I'm okay with that. I'm not really picky and choosy on who I prefer as Spider-Man, but at the end of the day, I really think that this game is worth playing. It's worth playing. I hope I didn't try to spoil too much for you guys, but again, the game is really amazing. I do advise that you guys go out and play it. If you don't have a PS5, it's okay. You'll be able to get one. It took me a while to get one, but you'll be able to get one. You also, if you want to play on the old gen, you can as well, because it's available on there. I think it's also cheap on the PSN network as well, if you guys are willing to play it. So again, I'll be doing most of my gameplay on Twitch, so you don't have to worry about me, doing that on YouTube. But I don't mind doing it on YouTube either. I can do both. I can stream from my YouTube channel and stream on Twitch. I keep, either or is fine. So I'll do it that way. And again, in the near future, I'll do a video on Prowler for those who don't know who he is. Because again, I feel, I think, and I don't know if anyone ever remembers this, but if you had watched Spider-Man Homecoming during that interrogation scene where Spider-Man webbed up a guy in a parking garage, trying to cover the sound of his voice, and Donald Glover, that was actually supposed to be Aaron Davis. That character was supposed to be Aaron Davis in the MCU. So it's a little bit of a hint that, Miles, he even mentioned that his nephew, so Miles does exist in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We just haven't seen him yet, but we have seen his uncle Aaron Davis, played by Donald Glover, if you guys don't remember that. So again, hope you guys like this. If you want to hear more, feel free to subscribe, leave a comment down. We can discuss about, any topic. What do you think about what's going on in the MCU as far as like the Loki series? Have you seen the Loki series? Have you seen Black Widow? Have you been, watching WandaVision or Falcon and the Winter Soldier? What do you guys think of the upcoming movies that's coming up, like Shang-Chi, the Eternals, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man not Far From Home, No Way Home? Just, leave a like. If you like the video, leave a like. You want, subscribe and hear more videos, subscribe to that. If you want to comment, leave a comment down. And again, hope you guys have a great Friday. Hope I was able to share, a little bit of what, Spider-Man Miles Morales. I didn't want to try and spoil too much for those who still want to be able to play it. I hope I didn't try to spoil too much of it, but I just want to give you, a little insight on like, why I enjoy playing the game. And for me, like I could still play it to this day. Like even if I like complete a game at 100%, I'll still be willing to play it. So, again, you guys have a wonderful Friday night, and I will catch you back another time.